Hey everyone, welcome back to Random Spirit Podcast. I am your host, Cynthia. Before we dive into today's episode, I just want to remind you all about my free workshop that I am holding Friday, March 7th, 2025. Awaken, Heal, Transform, 3 steps to heal generational trauma through the chakras. This is for moms, this is for women, this is for anyone that is ready to heal and really go and dive deep and break those generational curses. Register below. Now get comfortable, grab your snacks, grab a drink, and I hope you all enjoy today's episode just as much as I did making it. Welcome, Andrea Fung, transformational coach. How are you, girlie?
I am doing really well. It has
You
been a
look good.
beautiful, Christmas, New Year. It's been chill. It's been relaxing with family. And now I'm ready to start the year and see what magic unfolds.
Yes, same, girl. Absolutely love it. Now, I have this beautiful soul on today's episode, and I'm actually like the work that you do, girl. I'm actually really excited to get into today's episode because my girl here, Andrea, she helps those in corporate, correct?
Yes.
To go on to their entrepreneur journey.
Well, it's more of like helping them transition into meaningful work or meaningful career. And that could be just getting another
Yes.
job in a different company with a less toxic environment, but also within corporate. Or it could be starting your own business, going onto the entrepreneurship journey. So it just depends on what is defined as meaningful or fulfilling work for that individual.
I absolutely love this. I just feel I can't speak for like other people, but like for me, when I was into the corporate world, girl, it was toxic. I was just like, ugh. Okay. Back then, I was like, what is this? I have no meaning in life. If that's you listening, I'm gonna get right into it. First of all, I want you to introduce yourself, anything that you feel is like valuable.
So, my name is Andrea Fung. I'm a transformational coach and energy healer for soulful entrepreneurs and also soul searching professionals who are looking to find purpose, fulfillment, and unlock joy beyond money, titles, and fleeting pleasures. So, what it is that I do is basically in all short form, we dig into what your limiting beliefs are, shift that, download more empowering beliefs and thoughts and feelings so that you're feeling good and ready to go to take that leap of faith. And that's really what it is. That's what it
And that
boils
is
down to.
just, it's so powerful. Now, I'm gonna get straight into it. We're right to
Yes.
business, Andrea, okay?
Let's do
Did
this.
you did you personally experience a transition from corporate life to something more aligned, with your purpose? Can you share what that journey was? Get into detail, you know?
That journey was scary, girl.
Oh,
I mean, when
remind
you've when you've been groomed to become groomed towards a particular career, towards a particular kind of identity, to move away from that to something completely unknown is really, really scary. You have to deal with a lot of fears of failure, fears of uncertainty, rejection. What would other people think? What would your parents think? What would your family think? What would your peers think? And naturally, because we're so hardwired for negativity, we're
Yes.
assuming that they're gonna think that, oh, we didn't make it. We couldn't make it, or we're making like a horrible decision because they're
Yeah.
also hardwired to be comfortable, right? So yeah, so I was a lawyer for 6 years. I knew nothing about personal development. I knew nothing about anything of what I'm doing now, actually. I didn't know what mindset was. I didn't know that
Mhm.
coaches outside of soccer coaches or sports coaches existed. When the pandemic hit, I was miserable and I thought to myself, if I stay here, I am 100% going to fall into misery and depression.
Mhm.
Whereas if I
Yes.
leaped into the unknown and took my chances out there, 50% chance I might hit something. Well, actually, that turned out to be 100% chance that I hit something. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here talking about this
Yes.
story right now, right? So yeah, and so my first thing that I did was I thought, oh, maybe I can go down the social media influencer route. This will be Q for anyone older than us to be like, Andy, you need to get a real job.
That's a, I don't under maybe it's like the programming, because like even I don't know if you hear I've had a lot of people be like you need a real job,
Real
going
job,
on a like
right?
podcasting and like, doing readings or transformational coach shit. It's not a real job, Andrea. Anyways,
I
anyways.
know it's the programming, and it comes from people who, back in the day, it was just not a thing. Now there's so many ways to make money, whereas back then, since the Industrial Revolution, there was only a particular way, and the easiest, fastest way was to get a professional job, an office job, a desk job. So
Yeah.
what happened was when I decided to quit law, I thought to myself, I'm only going to do what brings me joy and only do what brings me joy at any given moment. And I'm going to just let that experience be what it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to try my best not to project too far into the future. And so I did social media. I went down the social media influencer route, and then an opportunity came up to be a social media manager. Then I thought, oh, I saw this person who is a digital nomad coach, and I thought, I want to do what she's doing. I took her course,
Yeah.
became a digital nomad coach. That business tanked so badly. And also, by the way, that particular digital nomad coach, she's now a podcaster. So she's not even doing that anymore. Right, right. And so I think there's this beauty when you are so connected to intuition and you allow
Mhm.
your soul to guide you to what the next step is, whilst
Yeah.
remaining completely detached from the outcome, bit by bit, through following the breadcrumbs and through allowing yourself to go through multiple pivots without getting too attached or too committed to anything. Eventually, you're going to arrive in a particular point where you're just like, this is it. This is the thing that feels the most me. And for this
Mhm.
period of time, this energy healing, transformational coaching, 2 or 3 years ago, I didn't even know that this existed, by the way. This feels the
Yeah.
most me, and how this is going to unfold, or what other ways I would be able to work in this particular respect is going to just open up for me if I just continue going down this path. It's not to say that 10 years down the line, maybe I decide to do something completely different. Maybe, and this would
Yeah.
be amazing, if I could merge law with this healing work and the
Girl.
coaching work. Oh my God. Oh
Hmm.
my God. So I just don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that I found the it. I have really, really found the it. I have found the energy to do this work, and coming from a place of service, not because I need money, not because I need
Yeah.
validation, not because there's this
Hmm.
need for anything other than it's just a natural expression of who I am. And this is the kind of work that I want to do. This is how I want to contribute to humanity. This is the kind of healing that I want to help people facilitate as and when they are ready for it.
How exactly were you feeling when you were working in law?
I would say there are two parts of it. First year of working in law, I had like a horrible boss. Like, you're talking about working 12-hour days. The only way you would let
Mm.
loose is by drinking, drinking, sex, drugs, like, all of those
Yep.
things.
Yep.
But somehow, I don't know if it's my natural vibration, or it was just the journey that I was meant to take. But the next two
Hmm.
jobs after that I had amazing bosses. Exactly like the job that I had left right before I decided
Hmm.
to make that pivot out of law. I was working in this firm for 3 years. I had a beautiful boss. The colleagues were amazing. The work environment was
Hmm.
great. I actually had everything, actually. I had good
Hmm.
pay, good work environment. I literally had no reason to
Hmm.
leave, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest. But the fact that everything was so good, and yet I was miserable. Like something was
That
missing.
is.
Like this can't be it. Surely there is more to life than this. The fact that I was so miserable, it was a sign that it's time to go. It's time to explore what else is out there. Because
And
if I
that is
have everything,
amazing
yeah.
that you were able to pick that. I know that there's a lot of people that you can kind of like see it in them, but they're like, "No, I'm happy." while they're not smiling, you know? You kind
Yeah.
of you can kind of like pick up the vibe, but just like you said, it's not about the money or anything. It's just like it's a vibe. And I'm gonna go back to what you said about like law and the spiritual and bridging things. Um,
Yes.
I feel like intuitively, psychically, whatever,
Yeah.
I
Yes.
feel like that's going to be the future. I genuinely feel like at some point we're gonna get out of this like robotic 9 to 5 type thing, and it's gonna be
Mm.
more like flowy and intuitive and just like things are gonna change, you know?
Things are changing already, and I
They
can
are.
see, yes, yes, absolutely. Things are changing already. I can see the shift that is starting to happen, and I see people starting to question. They're starting to question their decisions. They're questioning their career choices. They're questioning, like, is this what works for me? So there's one section of people that are like that. And then there's the other section of people that are like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna buy everything that I can and make as much bag as much as I can at the expense of God knows what, at the expense of of people, at the expense of the
Yeah.
environment. And there's that group of people too.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it has to, I guess it has to somehow, the status quo has to be thrown into chaos first before things can balance out.
Yes, girl. Thank you for saying that. What inspired you to help people through transition out of the corporate world?
Well, you can't really help people on a journey that you haven't walked, right? And so that's why I'm passionate about this, is because I know what it felt like to have everything and feel absolutely miserable. And when
Hmm.
you're miserable, you know that phrase, hurt people hurt people. And I don't want to be that
Yes.
person. I
Hmm.
refuse to believe, and I never believed actually. I always felt that I'm sure we were not born in this world to be miserable. I'm
Hmm.
quite sure. This is this deep inner knowing that I don't know where it came from. We were not born here to suffer or to be miserable for the rest of our lives. And it's a matter of how willing am I, or how willing are you, or everyone else, to go and find something more, to explore what else is out there? Because we are hardwired for growth as well. It's a natural thing that we want to
Yes.
endlessly grow. And part of growing is exploring, is testing our
Hmm.
boundaries, testing the boundaries that have been imposed on us, set for us, and to just give it a go. And so not knowing what I know and having landed where I have landed now, it's no surprise that this is what I want to help people with, whether it's transitioning out of corporate or transitioning to a better place within corporate, anything that makes you happy, because different things make
Hmm.
different people happy. And it's important to
Yeah.
focus on that.
100%, girl. What common challenges do people face when leaving the corporate world, and how do you help them overcome these challenges?
So when it comes to leaving the corporate world, the biggest fear is uncertainty. There is a need for certainty. There is a need to know that this is going to be a success. And I know that because I face those fears too.
Yes. Hmm.
I know those fears it's very real and it's very debilitating. It's very paralyzing. And your mind is going to overdrive trying to look at all the various pathways and find all the solutions, and at the same time finding all the barriers within all of those
Yeah.
pathways and solutions as well. So the work that I do, really, it's about looking into, okay, look, what is the most forefront fear? And if we were to shift that fear, if we were to remove, say, the fear of failure, or if there was another way that you could look at dealing with uncertainty rather than it just
Hmm.
being dark and gloom, if you were to be able to access your intuition and allow that to guide you, if you could move as if there were no obstacles in your way,
Hmm.
then what would be that next step that you would take? And a lot of it, this transition, it's not something that, for me, it was because I'm that kind of person where I will just jump from point A to point B. So for me, it's
Yes.
a all or nothing thing. It's like, you know what, I'm done with this, I'm going somewhere else. But it's not the case for everybody. For
Yes.
many people, the transition takes a long time. sometimes it takes one step and then the next step and then the next step. And so what I do is I help you remove the particular blocks so that you can see what is the next step in front of you. And of course, it's up to you to decide if you still want to take that next step. Do you want it bad enough?
How do you address the fear of financial instability or failures during the transition out of the corporate world?
So this is as in this is when they've already transitioned out.
So I guess you can say before they're like thinking about it, they're like, I'm watching, Random Spirit and I'm listening to Andrea and I feel something, but money. No?
No, that is a very practical fear. So I think in my case, because I had a fair bit of savings saved up, so it was easier for me to make that transition. But
Okay,
if
yes.
there are any issues around, financials, then it's about, taking full inventory of what is the financial situation. Is there
Yeah.
any other way that you could start up a side gig of what you want to do that's on the
Oh, I
side
love that,
and
girl.
build that, because that
Hmm.
is a very practical reality for everyone. Not
Yes.
everyone is going to be able, like, oh, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm going to do something else. So
Yes, yes.
yes, what is a side gig, that is one step towards your passion? You don't even have to jump straight to the passion. What is something that could help you make money now, that is veering towards the direction in which you actually want to go, and build it from there? And it's going to be quite hard, maybe initially.
Yes.
Maybe you're
Hmm.
going to have your energies torn between multiple parts, but at least it is a first step. Or it doesn't have to be a big step. What is the next tiny step? And so many people don't realize how much power lies in making a decision. Like when you
Yeah.
decide, when you decide, then the whole world bends to match your desires, to match your vibration. So for me, for example, when I decided I didn't want to do law anymore, and then suddenly my boss comes to me and was like, oh, the business is not doing so well. I think we might have to, give you a redundancy
Mm.
severance
That's
package, right?
that's God talking to you, girl.
Yeah, that's decision, and
Hmm.
so maybe this decision is, okay, I do not want to do this anymore. What are my options? What do I actually want to do? And then just
Hmm.
start to see the synchronicities happen bit by bit that would support you towards that path.
I absolutely love how you bring this reality of like, that you saved up money, you were in the position to. And so for those, I just think it's just like so beautiful for you to be like, you can go on and like stay in the job, but just create some time, to go on and try to um, get into hobbies and just like figure out what it is that you want to do so you can create a side business. A lot of people are doing that, girl. A lot of
Yes,
people are doing
yes.
that nowadays, which is like so amazing. How long have you been working with people in the corporate?
So I would say it was really for only for about a year, actually. It was multiple pivots, right? Social media
Yes.
influencer, social media manager, digital nomad coaching. And then I got a job with an executive, with this director of a coaching institute here in the
Mhm.
city. And he randomly messaged me on LinkedIn saying, hey, I've got a bunch of marketing consultants that I need help coaching. Would you like to coach with me? So it was that.
Wow.
So they were in corporate. Okay. And I think they're still in corporate, but a few of them have decided to leave that particular company and move on to a better company. I have a really good success story, actually.
Girl,
So,
that was the next question I was gonna. Yeah, we're connected.
yes,
Yes,
yes, yes. I
girl.
want to share
Share
this
it.
story.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
this particular girl, she didn't transition out of corporate, but what happened
Mm.
was I had been working with her for 6 months, and this was before all the energy healing stuff. Okay, so this is
Yes.
just
Wow.
strictly mindset. So she had been working at this job for like 8 years, the same position. Very,
Mm.
very incremental pay increase, and she feels like she feels like she didn't have the confidence to be a manager because she didn't have experience. She was even afraid to ask for
Hmm.
the raise. Anyway, long story short, 6 months of working together, she moves to Australia with her partner. She's got a
Mm-hmm.
six-figure salary working for Disney Plus. And she loves her job. Like she loves the company, she loves the work that she's doing, and she loves the salary that she is getting. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just so she didn't transition out of corporate, but she made a complete life change. And she's now living like the best life. I think living 2 hours flight from where from my city.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And originally she was living in Thailand.
Okay. We
She's
love
actually
that.
Thai. She's actually Thai.
Okay.
And so part of the reason that she didn't have the confidence also was she was worried about her English, and worried about switching
Yeah, yeah.
cultures from Thai
Hmm.
culture to Australian culture.
That
So
must
she
be
made a
hard.
yeah, yeah, she made a complete life change. And that's what I'm here for. The transition can look like anything. It can be
Hmm.
from corporate to another corporate job, or from corporate to entrepreneurship, like whatever, as long as as long as you're happy.
How do you guide someone to discover their passions or align with their purpose outside of the corporate structure? Because I just like hear a lot of people, and I know a lot of people, they identify with work and that's it. And then like on the weekends, they're just like, I'm too tired. How do you guide someone to discover their passions?
Well, the first question is, and I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be able to tell me what the answer is. I would normally ask, what do you want to do? Like, what do you like? And what do you do for fun? And when I say fun, I don't mean Netflix for hours. Like, I mean, like,
Yeah.
what brings you joy to your heart? And then they'll probably look
Mhm.
at me and be like, no one's ever asked me that.
Well, damn.
Which is true, which is true. So then I
Mhm.
will ask them to make a list of 100 things that they would do for free forever.
Mhm.
Like for
That's a
free.
good place to start.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And then focus on the first top 10 and have a look and see what could be a potentially good starting point. And then we can look at the rest of the list as well to see what are the potential career options. So that's number one. And number two, we can take them through the ikigai, journey, of looking at, what are you good at? What are your passions? What will people pay for? What is there a need in the current industry for that?
Yes.
And then you see what are the points where you actually overlap. And then from that point onwards, it's also, then that would be a great next step. And then you go for that.
What specific tools or techniques do you use, such as coaching, spiritual guidance, or mindset, to help your clients?
It's mainly through the transformational coaching and the releasing of stagnant energy and the shifting of limiting beliefs. For example, I worked with someone recently, and she was telling me that she doesn't know what to do, so she did that list. So anyway, we realized that she wants to be a harmony coach, right? And so
Ooh,
a harmony
okay.
coach. I don't even know what a harmony coach is, but
I
it's
don't
now
either.
it
Tell me more.
yeah. Well, it's down to her to be able to express it. So what she's saying, to
Oh.
my understanding, it's like a harmony coach, harmony between masculine and feminine energies, harmony between us and everyone
Ooh,
else around us, harmony
wow.
between us and nature, harmony because it's the interconnectedness, it's the oneness of it all, right? So,
Hmm.
and so with that one, for example, it's kind of like, okay, well, now that you know that this is the way to go, then what's stopping you from doing it? Why are
Hmm.
you procrastinating? Then it's about working on, okay, let's go down to the root of what is stopping you, like where in your childhood it is that you were made to feel like it wasn't safe to explore, that it wasn't safe to fail at something or to try something new. And then we look at where those beliefs come from and then just shift
Hmm.
that. Yeah. So I do this via theta healing, and then we can look into the chakras to see where that energy is stuck. And then we go into that chakra and clear that as well. So at the end of the session, you're just coming out feeling like, I feel so much lighter. And it's like, okay, now that you feel lighter, what is the next step? And then you go and do that first immediate next step and then take it from there.
That is so beautiful. I feel like a lot of people, need to understand that, like, in anything it is that you do, like any like blockages or whatever, it like there's a root to it and it stems from your childhood, whether you like it or
Yes.
not, you know,
Yes.
face
Yes.
it. So that's beautiful, that you're bringing and incorporating that into it. What advice do you give someone that you're working with and they've picked whatever category and they are suffering with self-doubt, they're suffering with imposter syndrome?
Well, when it comes to self-doubt and when it comes to imposter syndrome, I would kind of question, the first thing I would ask is, well, where did this self-doubt first come from? You
Mm-hmm.
know? And and then when depending on what answer they give, I will probably ask like, can that be okay?
Yeah.
Can this fear be okay? Can you allow this fear to have its time, and can it be okay? And then after that, it would be, well, let's take a look at all the previous examples where
Yeah.
you had self-doubt and turns out you proved yourself wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure in this, however many 2, 3 decades or 4 decades of life that you have lived, I'm sure we have all had numerous points of self-doubt, but we went for
Mm-hmm.
it anyway. And eventually, life, the universe, and we ourselves, we proved ourselves wrong. And so at that moment, it's a matter of, well, can it be okay? Can it
Yeah.
be okay to have this self-doubt and move forward? Can it be okay when it comes to imposter syndrome? Can you feel okay and allow yourself to take that next tiny step anyway? And
Mm-hmm.
anyway, look, when it comes to imposter syndrome, this is how I psych myself when I have
Yeah.
imposter syndrome, is the more you know, the more you realize that you don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so really the most empowering point for me is, can you work with not knowing? Is it
Mm-hmm.
okay to forever be a student of life? And also to understand that as you are progressing in being a student of life, there's always going to be people that are like a few steps behind you. And that's all you need to know. You
Mm-hmm.
just have to keep going forward for yourself and for the people who are just a few steps behind you. Not
Mm-hmm.
everyone is in front of you.
No,
We
yeah, a
just
thousand
we,
percent.
yeah, we just perceive it that way because we're looking forward. So we're looking at all the people that have made it, that have spent 2, 3 decades, 4, 5 decades honing their craft and being the best that they can, marketing themselves in the best way. But we never really stop to look back to see how many people are also looking at us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's the advice that I would give.
I love that. Oh my God. You're like so motivational, girl. It's
Thank
just like
you.
I feel just like the energy and I don't know what it is that I'm like channeling or what, but it's like it makes me wonder. Um, have you always been just like spiritual?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, the reason why I asked is because there's someone that's coming to mind, and this like crazy, right? This
Okay.
person's coming to mind, and this person's in the beginning of their spiritual journey, in the very beginning of the spiritual journey,
Mm-hmm.
and they're getting messages, right? They're getting messages, this isn't for me, but it's like, how would you help someone like that? Not only are like is this, something new with like the work and like, oh, this doesn't align, I'm getting bad vibes, but also it's like the whole belief in that spiritual world. And then like
Mm-hmm.
fear comes up and stuff like that. And oh, well, who am I? I don't know. How would you guide a person like that? That's just like, and just immense just like fear, and this person has like money trauma, and yeah, they saved up, but they just can't grasp around this taking a leap.
Okay, so I would say for me, the first thing is always to
Yes, yes.
always have a higher vision. Okay, I'm only going to share what worked for me. So for me, my
Yes.
higher vision was I want to find my divine purpose and I want to find my sacred calling. So that has always been and always will be, well, I guess not anymore now because now I have that. But
Yes, yes.
it will be, what is the highest vision? Okay. And then now, if I were to ask you to take a step towards that higher vision, what what are the thoughts that are causing your mind to spiral? When you're spiraling, what are the thoughts? Like, write it down. Is I'm not enough. I don't know anything about spirituality. I don't have no money. Write it all down.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's pick and let's go through each and every single one of them and see which one has the highest charge. Highest charge meaning if I list down all 5 of the things that you have written down, which one hits you the most? Which one is the one that
Mm-hmm.
feels the heaviest, the most impactful? And then we're gonna go dig deeper into that and
Mm-hmm.
actually see and it's find what is the root cause that is fueling that. And normally when you find the root cause that is fueling that and then you shift that, it's like the entire pack of house of cards just comes crumbling
Yeah.
down. Yeah. And so without like a full concrete example, I can only give very general
No,
tips
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
very
yeah.
general advice.
And that
Yeah.
is just so, thank you for that because whatever it is that I'm picking up, I feel like it's anxious and I'm pretty sure this person that's in my energy and I'm thinking about has
Yes.
major anxiety. So I love that how it's like everything that spirally, it's that anxiety that write it down.
Yes, yes, yes. Like write it down. And then once you've done a complete brain dump
Yes.
of every of the anxiety that's spiraling in, then it's and then you normally feel better after you have a bit of that brain dump. Then it's about,
Right.
okay, how can you bring yourself back to your body,
Hmm.
bring yourself back to presence, connect to heart, and what
Yep.
does the quiet voice
Calm.
of heart says? And then,
Yeah.
what is the next step? The next step maybe could just be to go to the park. No one is saying quit your job. It's just saying
Hmm.
go to the park, see what's there. It could
It's
just
as
be that.
simple as that because I feel like what a lot of people need to understand is that answers aren't going to come to you quick. When you have anxiety or this fear, you need to be in a place and an environment that's grounding. You need to feel
Yes,
safe in your body. Go to the park,
yes,
go to the beach, go outside, put your feet in the grass, whatever it is that you have to do,
yes,
so that you can
yes.
go on and think clear. What is the most fulfilling part of the amazing work that you do?
For me, because for so long, I have wanted to find work that feels like my sacred calling. I wanted to find work and a career that feels like I was born to do this. And I think that
Hmm.
is one of the most fulfilling things about the work that I do is every single time I facilitate a healing or every single time I go
Yes.
into a coaching container, I feel so incredibly me. And when I feel
Hmm.
so incredibly me and when I feel like I am embodied my essence, I feel like I am doing what I came here to do, to serve for Gaia,
Yeah.
for humanity. And that's the thing that is the most fulfilling, honestly, is that I am able to radiate and be in the full embodiment of what my
Hmm.
soul came here to be.
So inspirational.
Thank you. And
Inspirational.
when you're doing when you're doing, the podcasting
Hmm.
that you do, I know that that is also a huge expression of your soul.
Yes.
And it makes you feel so you. And that's
Hmm.
beautiful. It's a high. And this is the kind of
Yeah.
feeling that a lot I wish more and more, like I wish the whole world could experience this feeling of this is so me. This is so
Hmm.
me. It's so love. It's so
Yeah.
light, you know?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of us need to understand that we all are love. We all are like joy and happiness, and we deserve all that, you know?
Yes. Yes,
We
absolutely.
can get to that. What lessons have you learned through helping others with this transition, and how have they influenced your own life?
Well, one of the biggest things that I've learned is nothing is permanent.
Hmm.
Everything is temporary. The fear, even the good life, the bad life,
Yeah. Hmm.
it's all temporary. And the only
Yeah.
reason it becomes permanent or it extends for an extensive period of time is
Hmm.
because we hold
Yeah.
on to that because it's part of our identity, right? I guess we don't want to let go of what is familiar, even though it is incredibly uncomfortable. So I would
Yeah.
say that when it comes to transitions, it will be being lost and
Hmm.
not knowing where to go
Hmm.
could be, if you can see it that way, the most empowering state to be in. Because what if you're not lost? What if you're now officially playing in the realm of infinite possibilities.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I
That
agree.
means anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Anything, if your energy is tuned in the right way. What that has taught me, that's actually a really good question. I would say working with everyone, working with these people, with all the clients that I have worked with, it has highlighted to me how much, how important this work is
Yeah.
ultimately, how important
Mm-hmm.
this work is, how, for lack of a better word, like I feel like it's like my soul came here to do this work
Yes.
ultimately. And
No.
yes, and how beautiful the human journey is. This
Mm-hmm.
human journey filled with the chaos and the drama and the joy and the suffering and all the entropy. It's
Mm-hmm.
actually really beautiful. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful game simulation in a way, if you could look at it that way. And I feel like it is an experience that, because it's so personal, from each personal to each soul, that every stage of the journey
Mm-hmm.
needs to be cherished, regardless
Mm-hmm.
of where you're at in life, whether you perceive it to be good, bad, stressful,
Yeah.
frustrated, happy. Every part of it is beautiful. Every part of it has a gift in its own way, and every stage of it is to be cherished.
I love the positivity that you bring into it. 1,000%. And I'm telling you, girl, you are here to like help this just like this awakening, this new energy that's coming into the world right now, and
Thank
help like
you.
the future. What advice do you have for someone like is that doesn't have support, that doesn't have help, that doesn't have that foundation with just because, something that I'm like getting is, and I hope Andrea, you are helping people break generational fucking curses, dude. Like, and just the whole conditioning in like, you need to go on and, do this and you have this job and then like you need to be tired, you need to be overworking yourself, and that's how you know that like, you're succeeding, you're making money, like whatever, right? You are doing amazing work. What advice do you give someone that is breaking that generational curse, but they're like, fuck, like, my parents are like calling me lazy, and like the work that I'm doing is, or the work that I'm about to get into is like not going to get me anywhere.
The advice that I would give, well, the first thing that I would say to them is, number one, everything that you're feeling is valid. And number
Hmm.
two, also,
Girl, you're gonna make
that
me
you're,
cry.
because it is, the fears are valid, the anxiety is valid, the worry is valid. And also at the same time, your desires and who you
Mhm.
are, who your soul came here to be, that is equally valid, if not more
Mhm.
important, actually far
Yeah.
more important than what other people might think, far more important than the conditioning that has been imposed on you, the conditioning and the programming that has been unconsciously taken on by you. And the next thing that I would say is, and that's all that is that it's just programming. It's
Mhm.
just conditioning. It's just a set of beliefs that have been passed down to you from the time you
Mhm.
were a child. But as with an app on the phone, you can uninstall if you
Yes.
want. You know,
Yeah. Mhm.
if you don't want to be shopping at Amazon anymore, uninstall.
Yeah. For real.
delete
Mhm.
delete the programming. But at the same time, I also would say that, can you honor the person and the child that did everything that they could to get you to this point of realization that this is not for you?
That is so beautiful. I'm gonna add to that. A lot of people don't understand that we all carry like our inner child, that part of us that's just like trying to get that promotion and overwork ourselves
Mm.
is coming from like a place of lack. What I believe, that's like our inner child right there. You
Mm,
know?
mhm. Absolutely. And in order to move out of that? It comes with first finding safety within ourselves. Can we hold our inner child in safety? Or are we still giving our power away and therefore reinforcing the wounds of the inner child?
That
Can we
is some
hold, right?
stuff. To anyone working corporate, even if you don't want to do like a side anything, I want you to like sit and reflect on what she's saying right now because that is some deep, deep stuff. Continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Because so much of any kind of anxiety or frustration or stress that we have, number one, some of it can come from the inner child, some of it can come from wounding from adulthood. But ultimately, it's when you are able to find safety in yourself, when you're able to find safety in your body. And that's the whole point of this healing work, right? Shifting the beliefs, releasing the stagnant energy, is so that when you're able to find that safety and hold your inner child in a safe and solid space, then you will be able to take the leaps of faith towards whatever it is that you want to do. Because at that point, you won't have issues setting boundaries with your family or your friends or your boss or whoever it is. Because, your inner peace, your inner child is of utmost priority to you. And yes, maybe it's going to feel really scary saying no for the first time or for the next few times. And depending on how close this relative is to you, it's probably going to feel really hard. But at the same time, everything comes down to decisions. It's up to you to weigh up whether if this thing that you want to do is worth the loss, is worth the potential loss. And I can actually speak to this because there was a period of time where I just said to my parents, I was like, with every time we communicate, it's World War III. And I just don't want this anymore. I just don't. And I want to protect my inner peace. And because of that, honestly, I just do not want to have this communication or this relationship anymore. It was just quite dysfunctional. And so I think for a period of 6-8 months or whatever, I never called home. I didn't speak to them. And they're in Malaysia, by the way. So
How was that for you? Like, how was that time for you?
it was great. I felt so much peace.
Oh
And I felt like,
shit!
yeah,
Really?
I was so happy. I was like, yes, I don't have to call and have this, anxiety and having to listen to them tell me what I'm doing is right or wrong. I should do this or whatever. I don't need their stupid advice because they don't know me the way I know me. And at that time, I didn't know me. So how can someone
Yeah.
else know me? How
You
can I
chose
teach someone?
you.
Yes. How can I teach
Oh.
someone to treat me the way that I want when I don't know me enough? Right?
Mm,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So for those 6 to 8 months until I felt like I found sufficient safety in my body, then
hmm
I allowed contact to happen again. And I don't know what happened in their life in that time, by the way,
Wow.
but something in their energy switched. And I think it's because something in my energy switched. It starts with us. And because I
A
started
thousand
choosing
percent.
me, they started respecting me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they know, yeah, they don't have that hook or the hold over me anymore. And so since that point, this was not that long ago, this is just maybe 2 years ago. So since that point
Wow.
in time, I got out of that parent-child hierarchy, and now we are equal as human beings. And
All
that has
because you
made all
set
the difference.
boundaries. You chose
Yeah,
you. You set
yeah.
boundaries. Again, everything you're saying is just absolutely so beautiful. We need to heal the inside of us. So literally what you just said. Sometimes it doesn't happen or like whatever, right? Your outer world is going to change. It's going to
Yes.
change. And if it doesn't change, I feel like you need to go on and make that decision on whether you want to continue the energy exchange or, you do you, cut it off, continue, love someone from afar, whatever. But
Mm,
I have a last question for you, girl.
yes.
This is burnout culture. Okay?
Oh, burnout
You're like,
culture. Ah, I feel attacked.
how do you help clients feel? from, corporate burnout before and moving forward. Now, let's just pretend like my girl, went on and you've incurred someone, and they're like, okay, like I'm ready. But it's like they're burnt out and they're like, Andrea, I just don't know. Like they don't know they're burnt out, but like you can pick it up and they're just like, I just don't know, girl. I'm just tired before even like doing anything. Like what advice? How do you help people with
Okay.
burnout?
If you are burnt out and you are too tired to function, and all you want to do on weekends is just sleep, then to me, that screams that you have given so much of yourself away to something that is completely misaligned to your soul. That's what it
Wow.
is.
I
And
hope
when
that triggers a lot of people.
and you are so and because you have given yourself so much of yourself to a cause or to a job or to a relationship or in
Mhm.
this case a career that is
Yeah,
completely misaligned and demands too much of
that
yourself,
is,
too much of you, then
you're attacking.
it means that you have also disconnected from
Mhm.
who you actually are. You have
Ouch.
disconnected from prioritizing your needs, and you need to look
Mhm.
into how is that serving you.
Yeah,
what
it's
what
not.
what yes. What benefit? What benefit? What and this is I read this book called The Existential Kink, where there's a part of us that actually likes the punishment. We like the punishment
Right.
of being controlled. We like the
Mhm.
punishment of, giving our power away. So I want to ask, what is the kink that you are getting out of burning yourself out? What is the kink? What is the pleasure that you get out of giving of yourself to your boss, to your colleagues, to your clients, to the point where you are so exhausted that you have no time to fill your own cup? When you can tell me what pleasure you get out of that, we can start the work.
No, my girl is calling you guys out.
No, because corporate burnout is
Wow.
real. It stems from so much people pleasing. It stems from this perceived need that I need to kowtow and bow to someone else in order to get money. And it's freaking ridiculous.
You explained that perfectly. Yes. Yep.
Yes. So this needs to
Wow.
change. Like there are so many ways that we can do our job. And
Yeah.
assuming this is an aligned job, okay, we can do our job and earn sufficient money to and yet still be able to fill our cups. And if somehow or other we
Mhm.
are not filling our cups, it's not even I'm going to put this out there. It's not even necessarily the industry, it's you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because everything starts with you. Everything starts with what you are willing to accept and what you are not willing to accept. It starts with you.
We love that tough love.
Mic drop.
If she has triggered you. Oh
If
my
I've
God. I
triggered
can see
you,
where,
look into the triggers.
no, for real, 1,000%, girl. It's just so amazing. I'm so happy with the spiritual community, the community that's like Awaken, because this would have been like so amazing when I was in corporate, you know? When was that? I think 2018, you know? It would have been so great. But anyways, um, wow, girl, I'm just like, I'm taken aback because I am just so happy that we connected. I absolutely love
Me
your vibe,
too.
and I'm happy and excited to see the amazing work that you're doing. You're literally like teaching people who they are outside of work. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people I feel lose their identities. I know a lot of people that are, like that, but so do you have like any programs? Like how can someone work with you? What do you have to offer?
It's so interesting that you brought that up because I recently launched my energy reset program. So it's
Woo!
basically three sessions. You work with me.
Mm-hmm.
We meet up on Zoom three times weekly. Oh, no, so I mean like once a week, but over a course of 3 weeks. And then we go
Yeah.
through what is the most forefront fear that is stopping you from taking any particular leap of faith, whether it's to switch
Yeah.
jobs or whatever it is that could be. This is really
Hmm.
for like the soul searching professionals who want to experience something more, who are spiritually curious and would like to, yeah, they're looking for that something more beyond what they already have. So we look
Hmm.
at what is
Yeah.
that forefront fear, we shift that. And then after that, we look into what is the stagnant energy that is actually, stuck within your body. We shift that. And then the third session is like an activation. It's like a soul activation, like a
Oh,
manifestation session
wow.
in a way. And then so at the end of it, it's kind of like, okay, what is the next step you need to take. And I'm not saying that this is going to be the next step that you're going to take is going to be the it step and you're going to have found your higher purpose and your sacred calling, because stuff like that takes time. But at least and you are ready, if you want to take the next leap of faith.
Do you want to go on and like give us like your website? I'm gonna link everything in the show notes, but while I'm pulling cards for you.
Yes. So you can check out my website. You can check out my website at www.andreafung.com. And another best way to get me would be to find me on Instagram. I am the Andy Ventures, TheAndiVentures. Well, there's LinkedIn and Facebook as well, but I think those would be better left on the show notes, I think. Otherwise, it'll just be too long
Mhm.
for me to
No,
explain.
I'm pulling
Yes, I'm
cards
excited for
for you.
this.
This is like business related, girl. Just business related. And I
I'm curious. I'm
absolutely love it.
curious.
But also, just let us know where you're located because I'm in the States. I'm in the US of A, and I know a lot of my listeners are in the USA. So where is my girl at? Where you at, girl?
I am in Australia, and every single year I fly back to Malaysia for like a few months. But for the time being, at least for the next 7 months at least, I'm going to be in Australia. And if there's anyone that actually wants to connect, slide into my DMs. We'll work out time zones or whatever, just the same way we have worked out
Yes.
this time for to have this podcast recording. So yeah, come say hi. I want to get to know you.
Yes, and it's also awesome because right now over here in, California, it's almost like we're about to hit 6 o'clock. And what time is it over there?
It is almost 12 p.m.
See,
afternoon.
that's good. I don't know what like your schedule is, but like right after you get off of work, to whoever's like listening to this, it's 6 o'clock right now, 12 o'clock for her. Hit her up, message
Yes.
her. There's
Yes.
no excuse for you not to,
There is no
you know?
excuse for you not to explore what is possible for you.
Oh
And what is
yeah,
possible for you could just be one message of hi.
for real,
I heard about you from Cynthia. I just want to
right?
come say hi.
And that's it. That's all
Yes,
that
and that's
can.
it.
Okay, girl. All right. Where are we gonna go with this? Where are we gonna go here? So I don't know if you're gonna be able to see because your girl has her thing blurred out, but this is just like heavy on your work and I feel like in yourself. When was the
Mhm.
last time you spent time by yourself and just celebrated yourself?
I would say it was like this morning when
Really? I love that.
I took my dog for a walk by the sea, and it was quiet because I'm part of the 5 a.m. club. So it was peaceful and it was just as
Wow.
thankful. I was just there walking and feeling just so grateful.
Hmm. I love that, girl. Continue that. And I just feel like
Yes.
whatever it is and what like the things that you do, incorporate more of that into the work that you do with others. People in the corporate world just really trying to carve that time by themselves, you
Mm,
know?
mm,
Even if
yes.
it's like because I feel like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, I don't have like an hour. Like, who's asking for an hour?
10
5 minutes.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yes.
literally.
5 minutes.
That's all it takes. There is someone that I'm gonna call right after this and I'm gonna be like, you need to go with Andrea. 'Cause
Yes. Yes, connect us, please. I'd love to get to know this person. I also want to say thank you so much for that reminder, because I feel like, when we're on whatever journey, if especially if we're quite type A, we never stop to celebrate ourselves. So I want to thank you for that reminder, because I will carry
Yes.
that with me. Even though I know that I celebrated myself this morning, I also know that I don't like actively celebrate myself enough, or at least at the rate that I
Yes,
would like.
girl.
Yes. So
Mm-hmm,
thank you.
mm-hmm. It's all about that confidence. She is in her undergarments and it's vulnerability. You
Oh,
are making people feel naked. And like, we need more of that. We need that vulnerability. Like, wake up. And if you don't want to, that's fine. Go on and keep doing you. But it's like that wake up. And also to anyone that wants to work with you, understand that it's a progress. It's
I love
progress
that.
in the process. You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
ooh, I think I'm channeling the collective of people that are going to want to work with you. And it's
Ooh.
I'm feeling this instant gratification. I don't know if this was like a part of you or like whoever's listening to this. Whatever instant gratification you have within yourself, get rid of that. Because it's going to take time for you to like develop whatever it is that is underneath all. We have that development, the advance and condition.
Yes, yes. And I love what you said about how it's going to take time, because if you are to step into the embodiment of your essence, if you were to access that, you have to be prepped for that. You have to be prepped
Yeah.
for your soul work. If in 2021, okay, remember I told you I don't know what mindset is, I don't know what energy work is, I don't know what personal development
Yeah.
is. If someone told me in 2021, oh, Andy, in like, in like 2-3 years time you're gonna be a transformational coach and energy healer, I'd be like, what's
You would have
that?
liked that thing.
No, literally I would have been like, what's that? And get away from me. Like, you know what? Like, don't come near me. I don't know what this is. That was who I was.
Mhm.
Literally. So it was just, and so I would never, never in my
Mhm.
entire life imagined that 2 years
Mhm.
later, this is where I'd be. And so, yes, it takes time, and just celebrate every single stage where you're at. And this evolution is continuous, it's lifelong.
We have transformation again. This is radical change, internal shift, and this naked. We're naked. Okay? She's naked. She,
Oh,
she's going in this circle, and the image that I'm getting from spirit, we have this revolving door into whoever is listening, to whoever's going to be working with you. Andrea is going to help you stop that revolving door. Simple as that. Simple as that. Soak it in.
I am soaking it in. I mean, like when you said naked, I was already thinking, like, when you said that, and when you first took the card out, I was already thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm already as naked as I can be. What else do you want me to do?
Imagine. And it's so interesting because now we're gonna get into like the nitty like gritty of your work. I feel like you're going to be doing more, and that more is going to be coming. But we have direction, and this is the movement towards desires and guidance.
Mm,
Woo! Here we
that's a
go.
beautiful photo. Ah, I love the vibe of that photo. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like heading towards the promised land.
Yes, interesting. I'm seeing like a question mark, and it's like
Mm.
this whisper. Are you ready for what's to come? 2025 is going to be big, and not only
Big.
for you. I feel like it's just like for the collective, everybody, everywhere. It's going to be big, and it's like spirit is really telling you, are you prepared? Are you ready? Because
I'm ready.
booked
I'm
and
ready.
busy is going to be my girl.
I feel like the past 2 years have been prepping me,
No,
prepping
yeah.
me to be ready to be naked in my
Hmm.
essence. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
We
the
love
message is received.
We love vulnerability. But I'm going to go on and end it here. Thank you to anyone that chimed in, listened in, watched on YouTube. If you want to work with Andrea, I'm going to leave everything linked below.
Thank you. And even if you don't want to work with me, come say hi anyway, because what's wrong with saying hi? Let's say hi and let's get more connected in this epidemic of loneliness. Let's not leave potential soul tribe on the table. Come say hi.
Yes, all right.